Welcome back. In this segment, we're going to talk about the stance. And you know, I was in Shawnee, Oklahoma last week, and I was working with some guys that I'd never met before, and I realized how important it was to have the basics. I asked one young man, I said, you know, show me what you do. I said, you know, I just want to see, show me your stance and kind of where you're at in your bulldogging. And he kind of done this, and next time he done this, and he was all over the map. And you know, if you've ever been to this school or you ever been here, if I ask one of my guys to get in their stance, I mean, they immediately drop down in their stance. I mean, there's no, you know, it's a definite move. It's a definite look. I think you have to have those mechanics in order to fix things if you have a problem. Now, you know, we use a boxer stance. It's called a boxer stance. So I'm gonna just take y'all through it just like we would do if we were actually in the school. Okay, I'm gonna have Jacob come in and he's gonna help me show you some of the stuff we do. Listen, first of all, we keep it real simple here. You know, when I say boxer stance, we start, if you were here and you were going to the national finals and you showed up here to get ready, we'd start with our palms up. That's the first thing we do, palms up. And the reason we do that, the next thing we do is we roll our hands and we pinch our shoulders together. And I'm going to show you this two different ways. If you look, here's this, we're using this core strength all the way through here. The old styles that we used to have were straight up and down, just like this, okay? And we used to bulldog behind those horns. Now we pinch those shoulders and then we got a real roll in our back. Turn around, you see this roll in his back? If he's bulldogging a steer, I know if he's bulldogging right if I see this roll. If his shoulders are up and his shoulders are like this, he's usually going to be behind them horns, not over, okay? So that's the first thing in the stance that I want to make sure that these guys get. Look, the difference is using core strength versus arm strength, okay? This up here, arm strength, you know, I'm going to show you a little segment that we do to just illustrate how much power you can have by using core strength. And we'll show you that right now. If me and him were boxing, and I was standing here boxing him, have you ever watched boxers box? Look, if I was standing up straight up and down like this, I'd be hitting him like this. I wouldn't have any power. All my power would just be in my arm strength, right? If I roll my shoulders and I hit him like that, didn't hurt you, did it? I can put him on his ass, basically. Okay, you can go back to your circle. All right, but seriously, that's the power you have when you use your core strength. Okay, I mean you got to give it that. So we want to swivel like this. Okay, this is what we're swiveling from our hips, and this is our upper body strength. Okay, we want to move here. Okay. See, I did that exhibition in there, and I wanted y'all to see what we were doing in our school. And I don't do that to be cute or to make light of things or to, there's no reason for that other than to show you the difference in how much power you can have as a steer wrestler. You know, you can take a small guy and give him lots of power, or you can take a big guy and he has none. So I love to take a small guy or a big guy and just give them more and more strength, more and more weight, more and more power in their steer wrestling. I think that's where we tend to strive to get that more than any place around. Now, you know, he's a pretty good sized kid anyhow, but I tell you, I mean, if he just tried to bulldog with arm strength, I can tell you he would be a real small guy against big guys out there. Now, going back to our stance, palms up, pinch your shoulders. We take our left hand, it's right here in our pocket. Right hand, lift, come to your chest and up. You see how his hands, palms up? We got a lot more strength here than we do if we had our arm like this and pulling across and trying to lift. If he pulls his arm, let me see your arm just a second. If he has his arm like this and he tries to lift that horn, he's not got much lift on that horn. Now, if he brings it in and lifts, he's got all the lift in the world right there. He can take that steer and he can lift that steer and he can hold him, because what we want him to do is to take those horns and place them. Left hand, leave the left hand open, He doesn't have to close that left hand. Styles used to be where you would grip that left hand. I'm going to show you why you don't do that in just a minute, but just to carry on this thought, get him, open it up, bring your right arm in, lift, and you place that steer's horns just like this. Now you bring him right here, and you kind of lift him and bring him over here. You bring him over your right hip just a little bit, and you're bringing him right here. You're not leaving him over here. You're bringing him, and you're putting him right here. And that's where you're going to be. Now that's real important. We're not pulling. The old styles that we used to do were to pull steers. What we do is we grab this inside horn, we pull them right here, open our left shoulder up, and wait for the steer to come all the way around. Now we don't do that. What we're doing now, we're lifting, placing, and driving our hips back in and bringing them horns back down in here. I'll show you in just a second what that does for you. Okay, as we were talking about a minute ago, we want your horn right here, left horn right here, lifting right here, and that's going to bring that nose right there. Now you see where that steer is right there? That's where we want him. Now, but we still want him further back in our stance. What I mean by that, if I turn myself sideways right here, I want to make sure that steer gets back in the stance. I want to drive my hips back. You see what I'm doing? There's two ways to get a steer back in your stance. So you got the power and he doesn't. The first one is just bend over. Just break at your waist. Break right here, break at your waist. Okay, the second one and the most important one is to get on that right toe and drive your hips back. You see where that nose of that steer goes? He's driving back. Now I've got control right here. If I'm bulldogging and I'm the old styles, we kind of stayed behind the wheel. What I mean, the wheel being here, behind the horns. And we used to stand up and bulldog them like this. So the steer was kind of uncontrolled. Our legs were straight up and down. Here, we're driving. You notice I'm on that ball of that right foot. We stay on the balls of our feet. On the ball of that right foot. I let that steer have somewhere to go. I'll move this way so you can see this. I let that steer, I want to turn that right toe in. We ain't going to tear a knee up. I'm going to turn that right toe in because look, it's got give. Here's where you tear knees up. You have to extend them knees just like that. We don't do that. By turning that toe in, plus I've got more push, I've got more control by turning that right toe in. Okay? And if I turn that right toe in, watch what my hip does. Pivots my hip just a little bit. I'm not talking about turning my hip like this. I'm talking about pivoting that hip just a little bit. So I'm holding that steer over that right hip just a little bit. Okay? Now the next thing is I want to get this left knee, I want to get it out of the way. I want to float it, what I call float it. So I'm going to drive that knee back right here. Now I want to give you an example of a real good look and a good stance because I'm fixed to put Jacob on the fence and show you exactly what I mean by driving the hip. Now, if you notice here, we're low to the ground. We want our hips down. We're not bulldogging way up in the air. We want to have our hips down. We want to take those cattle and we want to take them down. So we don't want those cattle up here. We want our legs under us. You notice he's got some bend here, toes great. And look at this knee here, it's floated out. So that steer's got somewhere to go. A lot of times we'll see guys and they'll slide the steers, their both feet will be in the same spot. They'll be up here. Steer's got nowhere to go. Right here he's got balance. Now, when I'm talking about driving hips, you see how he's rolled, his shoulders are pinched. He's got this steer good. Now, when he's driving his hips back, now I'm going to say he's going to the nose right here. Drive your hips, slide the steer, go to the nose. His hips going back, okay? The biggest mistake I can see, all right, that's good. The biggest mistake, and I'm going to show you a mistake that's made right here. The biggest mistake that's made is guys going to the horn and going to the nose. They'll slide a steer really good. They'll slide him out really good. And the first thing they do when they go to the nose is chase it. Instead of driving their hips back, making the steer come over them, they'll chase that nose. Well, when I chase that nose, here's where my nose is. I've got no power now. And this is a common mistake. And I'm talking about from all the way up from high school to the pros. I mean, I see it all the time. And when they do that, they lose power, and it takes away from the run. They don't get that good, clean fall that we're looking for. So what I like to see them do is when they're driving, this is I kind of watched and learned a lot of this. Casey Jones does this very well. And I love to watch his style. And he wads up and then drives those hips back into those cattle, leaves that steer somewhere to go, he catches that nose and pull. And that's about as simple as it gets.